For you, call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Charles Glidden.
Coming up, we hear about Cayman Enterprise City's billion-dollar impact on the Cayman Islands economy. Later in the show, we talk about matters of the heart with two heart specialists from Baptist Health. And we'll have some open lines so you can tell us what's on your mind. Talk Today's next on Radio Cayman. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. Thank you for making me a part of your afternoon. I hope your day is running smoothly. And we have some good information for you this afternoon. We all know about the importance of the financial services sector and tourism as two core pillars of Cayman's economy. But now a third pillar has been identified having been assessed as having made an impact on Cayman's economy of over $1 billion US. That's billion with a B. And that entity is Cayman Enterprise City. Joining me now on the phones to tell us more about this are economist MARLA DUKHARAN, who made the assessment, and Cayman Enterprise City CEO Charlie KIRKCONNEL. Folks, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me from afar. Hello? Is everybody on the line?
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, and to your listeners as well, and to Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Charlie, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you going loud and clear here.
All right, very good. I'm joining you afar from West Bay.
From West Bay?
That's right.
Okay, well, let me start with you, Charlie. Cayman Enterprise City, its roots run back, to 2010, 2011, when this whole new idea came to Cayman about a specialized zone. But what did you see in this concept that made you want to get involved?
Well, I saw the opportunity to attract businesses to establish a genuine physical presence here. Prior to joining Cayman Enterprise City, I was an attorney at a local law firm. So on the service provider side, and throughout the course of my career, I met one client in person. They like to come down here once a year, but other than that, they really had no real connection to Cayman. Mm-hmm. And having a business background and being very interested in business people and what they're doing and their projects and so on, it was very exciting to me that we would have an opportunity to attract some of those clients and specifically clients in the knowledge and technology space to actually move to Cayman, to open an office, employ people locally, and become part of our local community and our local economy.
And this assessment by an economist, MARLA DUKHARAN, who is on the other line, This is saying that Cayman Enterprise City has made a socio-economic impact surpassing $1.23 billion US dollars. Where are you as far as what your business plan called for? Are you ahead of schedule? Are you on schedule? Did you think this is where you're going to be at this time?
We certainly hoped we would be. One of the things I will say is that there were some, and it was recognized as a little bit, let's call it ambitious initially. It took a little while to gain some traction and to really build it into something significant. It took a little while and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. There's still a lot of that going on, by the way. We've stayed committed, even though we didn't rocket out of the ground like we perhaps initially thought we would. Let's just say it that way.
Well, that's where the plan meets reality, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We met reality, and one of the things we found out in the early days was that had a lot of conversations with people about okay, sounds great. Who else has done this? And the reason, the kind of the motivation behind that question was, really, is Cayman really the type of place that I can set up a global technology-focused business and operate it effectively from? And until we had proven the model a few times, those sorts of conversations were very, very common. That was the meeting of reality. People thought of Cayman as a place to open up an entity and a structure and maybe have a registered office and that sort of thing, but didn't really think of Cayman as the type of place where you could open an office. So that took a little while to convince people that this is a great place to live and work, to operate a business from. And over time, as we convinced more and more people, then it became easier and easier. And to be honest, nobody asked that question anymore. We're approaching 500 companies set up in the special economic zone, and the best years that we've had so far have been the last post-COVID years.
Now, we've all heard of Cayman Enterprise City, but a lot of us, I think, don't quite really understand what it's all about. Explain it for us.
Okay. We are designed to attract knowledge and technology-focused businesses to set up a genuine physical presence here, and that means open an office and employ people locally. In order to do that, we offer, the way I like to explain it is that we're a government program that's been wholly outsourced to us to develop. And so the way that we attract businesses to set up a genuine physical presence here is to offer them certain concessions that make us competitive on globally, because our clients are looking at Dubai, they're looking at Singapore, they're looking at other places around the world that offer these types of programs. We have to compete with them. And that's what the concessions are designed to allow Cayman to do. Connected to that, we do a substantial amount of marketing, business travel, trying to drum up interest from people who we think should be move their business to Cayman or open an office in Cayman. And then also connected to that, we put a lot of work into developing our ecosystem, a community that is on par with what they might expect to find in a place like Silicon Valley, Austin, Texas. Essentially the type of community that feels like tech. Some of the things that we do are host. We host over 200 events and happenings per year. Some of them are formal, moderated panel discussions on topics of particular interest. Some of them are just simple networking events where we get people together. so that they can meet each other, exchange ideas, maybe even find something to work together on. All of that is designed to create a type of environment that is attractive to people who are currently operating from that sort of environment somewhere else.
Now, Marla, in making the assessment of the impact of Cayman Enterprise City, you came to the conclusion that this was a third pillar in Cayman's economy. What does it take to, in our context here, what does it take to be deemed a pillar of the economy?
Well, that's a good question. I think the main thing main elements I would look at is the amount of economic activity you create in the economy. We know, as you highlighted earlier, for example, that the financial services sector, for example, is the largest contributor to GDP. They also are the single largest sector that, in terms of contributions to fiscal numbers, around half of the government's revenue comes from financial services. So clearly that's a pillar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So overall economic activity in terms of contribution to GDP, contribution to fiscal, but also contribution to jobs. That's important as well. And, as you highlighted, we calculated and documented that in US dollars, since 2012, Cayman Enterprise City and the companies in its zone, has basically generated 1.23 billion US dollars in total economic impact. But that's like about $1 billion Cayman dollars, right? In equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look across the Cayman Islands economy, apart from tourism, financial services, and the government, the state itself, which of course is the largest employer, I can't think of any sector that in and of itself generates as much economic activity as this entity does. Excuse me, as this Cayman Enterprise City and the zone does. Throughout the report, I believe you have a copy of the report, you would see the kinds of numbers that we were able to calculate. For example, Cayman Enterprise City actively did business with 164 local companies in Cayman last year.
Mm-hmm.
They have 172, and this is one entity, remember that, right? 172 Caymanians and permanent residents employed. Paid roughly $22 million US in salaries by the Special Economic Zone to Caymanians and permanent residents last year. 177 interns placed in employment since 2012. So when I look at this, I can't think of certainly any entity singularly or any other driver of economic activity that can say, apart from, again, tourism, financial services, and of course the state itself is quite big, I can't think of anything else, any other entity or sort of economic driver. And certainly there isn't any other entity that I'm aware of that sort of calculates its economic impact, because there are private sector entities that do have a big impact, but we don't know in terms of their contribution to GDP, their contribution to jobs, their contribution to the wider economic activity. We don't have that quantified. But the other reason why I would say this is a third pillar is simply because this is an entity, Cayman Enterprise City is an entity that is intentionally and deliberately targeting future-proof industries and jobs. So, for example, 5 of the fastest growing roles globally are right there in Cayman Enterprise City's Special Economic Zone, like big data specialists, fintech engineers, AI and machine learning specialists, software and app developers, cybersecurity specialists, and so on. So this is not your traditional mature industries like tourism or financial services. These are all very progressive, technology-based, future-focused industries and jobs. And that's the other reason why I would say this is a third pillar.
Okay, we have to hit the pause button right here so that we can take a break, but we'll be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Let's raise a glass for the dads. This Father's Day, join Mykonos Steak Club for the Kliko Brunch, Sunday, June 21st from 11:30 a.m. Celebrate dad with indulgent brunch favorites, signature specialties, premium drinks, free-flowing Veuve Kliko, and the vibrant atmosphere Mykonos is known for. Enjoy the sounds of a live DJ and saxophone player as you toast to dad, grandpa, or the father figure who deserves it all. Packages start at just $75 CI per person. Call 623-5555 to reserve your table today for the Father's Day Kliko Brunch at Mykonos Steak Club.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and I'm talking on the phone with Cayman Enterprise City's CEO, Charlie KIRKCONNEL, and also economist Marla DUKHARAN. Am I saying your last name correctly?
Well, it's most people say DUKHARAN, but it's fine.
Okay. All right. So this money, over 1.23 billion US dollars that has been put into the Cayman economy by Cayman Enterprise City. Tell us a little bit more about where that money is being spent. Who's benefiting from that over $1 billion?
Marla, would you like me to take that one?
Yeah, go ahead, Charlie. That's cool.
Okay, and you can jump in and add.
Yeah, we can talk freely.
Yeah. Sure. So I'd say one of the most substantial areas is in real estate purchases, people moving to the island, and then of course that drives government revenue as well. And so stamp duty on real estate purchases that leads into other government revenues. So while the fees in the FEZ are lower than they are outside the FEZ, our companies still do pay fees. So there is a fairly significant sum being revenue being generated through government fees and duties. And then the people that live here, they spend money in the same way that you and I do, in that, we shop in the stores, we eat in restaurants, we buy cars, we do, all the normal things that people that live in a community do. And that drives a very significant portion of the economic impact. People just living their lives here in Cayman, and consuming in a very normal way.
Now, just so we're clear, this 1.23 billion, that's from the conception until what, 2025? Is that?
Yeah, that's
the period.
2012 to 25. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I see. Go ahead. Go ahead.
To what Charlie just outlined in terms of the major contributors to the economy. Yes, construction and spending. But let me just give you some numbers there. The annual footprint in terms of the amount of salaries, right, which is 152.3 million, means that these companies and their staff are pumping about $417,000 into the Cayman economy every single day, 365 days a year on average. So $417,000 US. That's a huge impact there. You have about 51.6 million US dollars injected via salaries that circulates via the multiplier effect, which, by the way, ESO calculated via the input-output tables. This, which I don't want to get into the technicalities, but via the multipliers that they've calculated. And we're looking at a calculation of about nearly $1 million US every single week that is injected via these salaries and the spending that Charlie talked about. It's about $1 million US every single week through Caymanian businesses, which is purchasing power directly into local utilities, supermarkets, gas stations, retail stores, restaurants, schools, etc. And the other point and piece of data that I wanted to add is that the local consumption from salaries paid within the CEC Special Economic Zone has actually doubled since 2021. So in the space of 4 years, you're seeing a rapid acceleration where the ecosystem has transitioned past its, very construction heavy and real estate heavy phase to more of a mature, deeply embedded and sustainable source of domestic economic activity outside of the construction and real estate sector.
Would you say for its size that Cayman Enterprise City is punching above its weight?
Absolutely. Its impact is, in my view, quite outsized from that perspective. And importantly, it's not just that the impact is larger than, and as you say, punching above their weight, larger than you would expect from one entity, but it's the nature of the impact. It's not that we are looking at an entity that is playing in a space that is mature, like tourism and financial services, or one that is very import based, like, let's say, importing and retailing foreign goods. This is knowledge based jobs, knowledge based industries and sectors that are of the future. I mean, these are the kinds of skills and the kinds of sectors that is going to and is already future proofing Cayman. So it's very important to understand that. And I feel like it's also, if I may, when you look at the challenges with education in Cayman, which I have written about and lamented, and so have others. When we did a gap analysis in this report and the work that we did, we looked at how Cayman is compared to the rest of the world as it relates to certain metrics. And one of them is expected years of schooling. When you compare the Cayman Islands to other countries with a similar GDP per capita, and you look at Cayman's expected years of schooling, other countries, on average, everybody's who's got a GDP per capita of it's just under 100,000 US dollars. Your expected years of schooling is almost 18 years for a country with that GDP per capita globally. Whereas in Cayman, we're seeing that as opposed to 18 years, Cayman, you're seeing 13.6 years on average of schooling, right? And so when you ask that question about, is CEC punching above its weight? I think this is probably, to me, because of, the values that I have, to me, this is the most important impact, because CEC is spending millions of dollars, and as Charlie just highlighted, 200 events a year that are, education based, and placing interns into industry to get live experience. And so Cayman Enterprise Cities and its special economic zone companies and Enterprise Cayman specifically are working tirelessly to close this gap, which is the difference between 13.6 years and 18 years. So, about a 4.3 year gap that in terms of expected years of schooling that exists in Cayman. They are really working hard to close that education gap and to close it in a sector and in industries that are very much future focused.
We have to take another break, but stay with us. We'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
When life feels busy, it's time to slow down and tune in. Breeze 105.3 FM gives you the timeless hits, smooth favorites, and the music that feels like home.
Cannot express how much you mean to me.
Switch now and ride the breeze.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. We're talking about Cayman Enterprise City's socio-economic impact assessment and the impact that it has had on the Cayman Islands. Charlie, in reading the background on this and also knowing you, I get the impression that you have as one of your objectives is to make sure that Caymanians benefit from this. Now, what would you say we have to do as far as education in Cayman to make sure that that can happen? And I know that you do a lot of educational things, as was mentioned, but how do we prepare young people to take advantage of this better than we are doing?
Yeah, well, one of the things, and we talked about this many times on the show, the kind of helping to change the mindset, maybe in parents and also in young people, that there are great opportunities available to them in these emerging new business sectors, technology specifically, I think historically I'm I can speak to this that this affected me as well. You're what you train for a career in. If you're going to be living and working in Cayman, is going to be you might be a lawyer, an accountant. You might go into banking or financial services of some sorts, or tourism, and those sorts of industries. The two pillars, the two established pillars, those are the places where historically people have felt, well, if I'm going to train for a career and live and work in the Cayman Islands, those are
that's where I can make a good living.
Outside of that is a little bit risky. So helping people to learn or to understand that there are great opportunities. First of all, that there's a growing critical mass of knowledge and technology focused businesses operating from here in Cayman, and that those people are always looking for qualified talent. It opens the opportunity for people, hopefully, to take a look at this and say, I'm looking for a career that will help drive the type of lifestyle that I would like to live when I get older. What are my options? Having them understand that jobs in the technology, the knowledge and technology sector are available locally. I think hopefully that starts to change people's minds, and they start training for these careers from younger and younger ages.
I mean, we're talking here, as was mentioned, some of the companies that are involved here. I mean, they're involved in this AI revolution that is underway.
Yeah, and anything. One of the things that I've observed, just from being part of this project for more than 15 years now, is that it's constantly changing. There are new opportunities being created all the time. And a great example of that is how that Cayman is a globally recognized hub for blockchain, virtual asset, Web3 companies, and now with and that was new technology at least new for most people. Somewhere around 2015 through 2016, 17, 18, these are the types of things that Cayman now participates in. And so as the AI boom, and the adoption of AI, with even into traditional careers, these things create opportunities for people that exist, that I guess that didn't exist previously, and present an opportunity for them to create a lucrative new career locally.
And this because it's knowledge based, it sort of fits right into the Cayman puzzle, right? I mean, it just naturally fits into this whole information and service industries that we have.
Yeah, agreed. And it makes it no one has to build a factory to kind of get up and running here. Knowledge and technology focused businesses can move. They can be very, very nimble. They can move quite easily, and it doesn't take the level of investment and upfront investment, upfront commitment as let's say like a traditional manufacturing special economic zone might require. So and I think that COVID, the advent of COVID and people all of a sudden discovering that okay, I can work from home. Oh, not only can I work from home, I can work from home anywhere in the world. That has been a big part of the reason why the most successful years of our project have been since post-COVID, is that these are the types of industries that can move easily and also have in their DNA that they're innovative and they're kind of risk takers, if you will, people that that they're happy to try new things, go new places, and operate from a place like the Cayman Islands. So, the nature of these industries really lend themselves to Cayman being a base for them.
Interesting how COVID has become a marker in history, post-COVID, pre-COVID. I guess that'll be with us for a long time yet. How does the work of Cayman Enterprise City, align with government policies? The recent strategic policy statement, that this government has put out.
I can comment on that. So you're right. The government not too long put out its 2026 to 2028 strategic policy statement. And when you look at the broad outcomes as well as the specific outcomes that they outlined, across the broad outcomes of economy, education, health, and environment, we identified all of the aspects of these broad outcomes outlined by the government that Cayman Enterprise City and Enterprise Cayman and the Special Economic Zone companies are able to contribute meaningfully to. So, for example, when you look at education, I mentioned earlier, this is something that's close to my heart. When you look at what the report was what we were able to find, Caymanians in a professional or leadership role is a big part of the amount of placement that has taken place. 80% in future-proof categories, as I mentioned. When you look at the amount of spending in total, $750,000 spent in direct investment into upskilling, training, and human capital investment over 14 years, the largest of which being last year, 2025. I think I outlined earlier some of the economic impact, but when you look at, for example, 80,000 in seed funding since 2021, meaning for new Cayman-born business ventures. So this is really driving an entrepreneurial activity and new business in Cayman. That is an aspect of the economic impact that Cayman Enterprise City is being able to bring to life. One more I would mention is in terms of sustainability. Sustainability has many different meanings, but in terms of resource efficient physical presence, what Cayman Enterprise City has done aligns very much with that, because this is not very intensely bricks and mortar type entities. Like I said, these are more knowledge based. So physical footprint is not a big aspect of these sectors compared to, let's say, banking or tourism. So the report, which I encourage your listeners to have a look at on Cayman Enterprise City's website, outlines all of these specific areas where the strategic policy statement, the 4 broad outcomes and the 11 specific outcomes are directly impacted by Cayman Enterprise City's work.
So, Charlie, is the next big move here to have that full-fledged campus?
Yes, it is, and we are committed to continuing to develop our site, which is just off Fairbanks Road, in just outside of central Georgetown. We have our first building is open, and our goal is to get started on our second building by the end of the year, and to continue to develop other aspects or sections of the site, including some mixed-use commercial, residential, some residential, and so on. to really create a community that is a proper mixed-use community that helps with the development of the commercial side as well.
Now, I see a road coming off of the roundabout there on Linford Pearson. Is that leading to that campus?
Where is that? How you get to our site right now is off Fairbanks Road.
Oh, okay.
There is a road that will come south from Agnes Way at some point in the future. We're not sure exactly when, but that will also reach our site.
So you had the vision to get involved in this. What do you see down the line here? 10 years, 5 years from now, what's your vision for Enterprise City?
Well, I think what we're doing is working very, very well. And what we need to do, in my opinion, is just more of the same, and continue to improve upon the things that we do well, and just make Cayman a more and more attractive place for global businesses to set up an office here. We also, and we are very committed to this, to invest in programs that help develop a local workforce, a critical mass of locally available talent, which without that, there will be a limit on how much our project can grow. So we're very committed to continuing with our career development programs. And if anybody's interested in speaking with us about how they might be able to get involved, or their kids might be able to get involved, we'd love to speak with them. And then, the other thing and related to that is the knowledge transfer aspect of our project, which is we have some of the leading experts, some of the leading minds in cutting edge, technology and other sectors, and we do a lot to aid that knowledge transfer, and I think the more and more of that we can do, the better it will be for everyone.
Charlie KIRKCONNEL, CEO of Cayman Enterprise City, and economist MARLA DUKHARAN, thank you so much for giving us some insight to what is happening with Cayman Enterprise City. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
It's time now to see what's making headlines.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. A leading tax technology platform says the era of quiet periods between tax deadlines is over. In an analysis published this week, automated tax compliance firm Taina says regulators worldwide are expressing filing windows and layering multiple reporting regimes, turning tax compliance from an annual project into a continuous obligation. The company argues that relying on last-minute pre-filing checks to fix missing or invalid tax data now creates significant operational risk. Taina says the only effective response is continuous validation at onboarding so tax forms are accurate when accounts are opened. It points to Cayman's adoption of updated CRS 2.0 and the new crypto asset reporting framework, with earlier 30th of June deadlines and immediate penalties as evidence that late data remediation has become a direct liability. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump says Washington will go back to shooting at Iran if he does not like the final deal. In live remarks at the G7 summit today, Trump called the Iran agreement a memorandum of understanding and warned the United States could resume dropping bombs if Tehran does not behave. In other news, Israel has launched new airstrikes on southern Lebanon, even as U.S. President Donald Trump warns he could still restart the war with Iran. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all 3 islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Darby Bernard Tibbetts, MBE. Bernard Tibbetts has spent his life serving the people of Cayman Brac. In his youth, he communicated with the island's ships by radio telephone, keeping seamen in touch with their families. He later became a wireless operator and was transferred to Cable and Wireless when it took over telecommunications in the Cayman Islands. In his 45 years working in communication, he undertook private study, enabling him in his spare time to do photo processing and repair the island's cars, trucks, radios, refrigerators, and air conditioners. He also established a family retail business. He served as president of the Cayman Brac High School PTA, director of Cayman Brac Power and Light Company, deacon of Stake Bay Baptist Church, trustee of Little Cayman Baptist Church, and member of the Brac's Hospital Building and Development Committees. In 1983, he was honored by receiving the MBE directly from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Mr. Bernard sings and plays music and has written a number of gospel songs and tracts, as well as a paper about life on Cayman Brac before the modern era.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
It's here. Multi-year trade and business licenses are now available. You heard right. You can apply for TBLs up to 5 years. Save time, reduce paperwork, and focus on growing your business. Apply online at dci.gov.ky. Apply for your multi-year trade and business licenses today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and taking a look at the weather here. Present temperature here in Georgetown, 88 degrees. It feels like 99. And let's see the rest of the current information. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 9.3 knots. The wind seems to always be the southeast now, right? The last days here, even from last week, I think it was a lot of southeast winds. And humidity is 70%. The afternoon is calling for isolated showers. Taking a look at the forecast for this evening. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the low 80s. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Sunset at 7:03, and the outlook is for an increase in cloud cover, and the chance of showers are as instability passes to the south of the area through Thursday. And we have our first storm of the hurricane season, Arthur. Tropical storm warnings remain in effect for portions of Texas and Louisiana, and life-threatening flooding is expected across portions of the southeastern United States. So we got our first one up there, Arthur, right on the coast of Texas, so we don't have to worry about that. And the rest of the National Hurricanes map is clear. So that's where we stand as far as storms are concerned. And Europeans attending the World Cup, they're experiencing America. Learning about things like waffles for the first time, and they're intrigued by it. And also ranch salad dressing. Apparently, that's a new discovery for a lot of Europeans attending the World Cup. Well, if you want to join in here, you have something on your mind, you want to bring something to our attention, maybe you just want to say hello, spread some good news. You can reach the studio by calling 1-800-534-8255. That is courtesy of Flo. You can also call on 949-8037 and 949-6990. On the WhatsApp, 925-3261 will get you in touch with our studios. World Cup getting more interesting. So what was the report? Messi got himself a hat trick, and I guess the fever will start heating up more and more as the days go by. So we'll be hearing a lot more about the World Cup. Came across something here in the Compass. We are always talking about training Caymanians and opportunities for learning a trade in Cayman. We came across this Otis Air. They are air conditioning, HVAC, HVAC company. They are offering a fully funded 4-year apprenticeship specifically designed to develop Caymanian talent. And this is, for long-term careers in commercial HVAC and building technology trade. So if you're interested in doing something like that, or you have a young person in your life that looking for something to train in, this is something that they should look into. Otis Air Technical Scholarship and Apprentice Program. And the program combines more than 590 hours of accredited online theory through the industry-recognized HVAC Redo.net apprenticeship program with approximately 2,000 supervised on-the-job hours each year. Sounds like a good thing, and air conditioning, what better trade could you get into, right? Here in Cayman, just about everybody, anybody who can afford it. Sometimes you can't afford it, but you got to have some air conditioning at some point. Even if I know some people that have called in here said they don't run it all the time. They just cool the place off, and then they conserve their dollars by once it reaches a certain temperature, they cut it off. But yeah, people got to have their AC here in Cayman because it can get hot, and it is summertime. So check that out, Otis Air, offering a scholarship. And we do have a caller on the line here. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Yes, Mr. Challo. Good afternoon, man.
Hi there.
I have to say, man, that's a chance in the lifetime, you know?
The scholarship.
Yeah, man.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
tell you.
once you got a trade, you know, you can make a living.
Yeah, man. You know, I never really done it, but I worked with a lot of air conditioning guys on the job, and I can see, man, it's really a nice job. You know, you just about clean every day, and when you know your thing, you just do your thing. Yeah, man. But I was saying, Chalo, you know, enough times we remember the seamen traveling on those tankers out there, and Caymanians working on the American ships and all those times. But it's one that we never really talks about, and that's a little island down on the southwest of us called the Swan Islands.
Oh yeah, well I know about Swan Island.
And
a lot of Gliddens went down there.
Yeah, Chalo. They played a good role in Cayman coming forward as well. I can remember a couple of us were youth up in town every 2 weeks when the popular boat, the Daydream will come in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and bring some produce.
Is that the one? That's the one we would always say, like, oh, the Honduras boat is in.
Yes, man. Hey, Chalo, we were in some serious poverty them times. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And the boat, man, I tell you, some of the best pineapples I had in my life, man, come from Honduras. And I would taste pineapples these times. You like them? Yeah, they used to come and bring produce and maybe lumber and all those things from Honduras. And we used to go and help them, and they give us bread kind and things like that to bring back West Bay in the afternoon. Coconuts and things. Yeah, man, so...
Yeah, that Honduras connection, you know, is bigger than a lot of people realize.
Yes, and the Daydream, they used to bring up cows around November time for Christmas, and come into West Bay Harbor, and drop them cows off Chalo. What a time! You know, it took all 3 or 4 of us to get a cow down to the grass piece in Northwest Point. But I would say, Chalo, that I don't think there's anywhere in this world that has produced better beef than Swan Island. At least for me, that's the best beef I ever ate in my life, man. I tell you. Yeah, during the Christmas time, there was really something else, man.
And that was not a big boat, right? I mean, you're talking about bringing a cow, and if I remember correctly, I mean, it was a very small boat.
Yeah, she was, but she brought a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she brought a cow, my friend. Let me tell you, man. Well, it was a couple of boats, you know, but the Daydream was the most popular boat.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a couple of them Honduras boats, I believe.
Yeah, but you're right, because when you said the name, it brought up a memory.
Yeah, man. I love the history, Chalo. You know, I love the history, and I can go far back into it, you know. But you really can't do it on a talk show because everybody deserves a little chat. So anyway, I'm looking at Portugal and one African country here now. So
you tuned into the World Cup.
Yeah, the Portuguese, they got to step up in that. They won that win there so much last night.
I saw where Messi made his hat trick.
Why? I'm looking for them to repeat that, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really do see no team out there. Besides the USA. The USA really put on a good performance the first night. I don't know if they can maintain that. But Messi come back with a nice team there again, my friend. So right now, I'm looking for them to retain that, man. Later.
All right. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Messi seems to be in fine style. So, things getting more interesting here. But there was an interesting discussion we had in the open of the show about Cayman Enterprise City and the development and the economic impact it has had since its inception in Cayman here. And from what they were saying, the kind of companies that are part of that special economic zone. I mean, the word future-proofing, careers was used a few times, and it is. It does seem to be, the future. This technology, because if you're following anything about what's going on with AI, and that's everywhere. That is the future, and it's not going away. It's only now just really beginning. We've only become aware of it over the last 2 years or so. The people in any significant number has been aware of AI, and most people through Chat GPT, or Gemini or Meta, just being able to research something. But what is going on a broader spectrum is, even more amazing. I mean, the money that is being spent, because you have all these data centers being built out to house the computers that are going to be running that, and some of those companies, in that special economic zone, Cayman Enterprise City, are connected to that sort of thing. And I think the great thing about that is that it gives us, especially the up-and-coming generation, a different avenue to make a good living. As was pointed out during that interview, it was, if you're going to make good money, you had to be an accountant, or you had to be a lawyer, right? Some sectors of tourism can do very well for you also, especially if you have a business that can, lock into that. But what about people who aren't of that kind of mind, right? Yeah, they're smart, but they don't want to be a lawyer. They don't want to be an accountant. They have something else that they want to do, technology. And that was, in the past, not really available in any kind of significant way. I mean, sure, recently, as things got modernized and came on, more IT was being put into a lot of offices. People were able to train themselves to go in and be the IT person in offices, but what is happening in technology now is is beyond most of us. You know, it's way above our heads in most cases. Even trying to wrap your mind around what AI is all about. You know, but that is going to be the future. There's no turning back from that. You know, and that is the sort of stuff that Caymanians have to be looking at and being provided with the kind of foundation in schools to go forward in that. We do have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon.
Yes. How are you doing?
All right. Yeah, I seem to remember I tell you about AI was coming, not you?
You may have, yes.
Okay. So,
is that a good thing for you?
not for Cayman.
Why?
Because this place is mostly governed by feelings. So if AI hurts somebody's feelings, it start a problem, start more division.
When you say hurt somebody's feelings, I mean, how's that?
No, it's too petty down here, man. You know, you complaining about the mufflers, you complain about the speed, you complain about everything. You know, so if the AI was to make you feel uncomfortable, and say that AI was pretending to be somebody you know. You know how that works? You don't know how that works when somebody is using AI to pretend there's somebody else to get to you and make you in that person. I don't think you understand that. But
if somebody is using AI against you.
Yeah.
Well,
impersonating someone.
I mean, people do that now without the AI on online.
But it's in a bigger place that they're using it. Over here, kind of, small, teeny weeny. And as I said, all you gotta do is have a feeling about someone. You're not gonna like or work with that person down here. That's how that works. Andrew, I'm not lying, right?
I'm really not following how you're saying that the AI would do that, but
All right. So one of the stories in AI is one of the things with AI is that people are marrying the AI. Okay.
Well, they got a problem, all right.
Right. So when that spread down here, now what are you going to do? You understand?
Oh, what kind of person is doing that, though? I mean, God.
Go search it. They're marrying the AI. The AI girlfriend is treating them better than the real girlfriend. I don't know how. But go search it. It's true. Having little kids take their own life just through talking to the AI.
Yeah, but those. Remember, the AI is just a computer, really, right? And they've been trained. Do you know that when you're using AI, they don't even take political preferences. They don't get involved. AI, when you're talking to someone, you're getting information from ChatGPT.
Do you know how much politicians are using AI to get answers?
A lot of people I use AI to get answers.
Okay then. That's what I'm trying to say.
It saves you a lot of time having to go through each site that comes up on a search, but because it condenses everything into one document.
But then who is doing the thinking you or the AI?
The AI is giving you information.
And and that information is influencing your outcome on your decision making.
Well, yeah, if but it always gives you a little warning down after the information says that, hey, this is AI. AI can make mistakes.
Yes.
It tells you that.
These people, like what we said, nowadays they are weak-minded. They are petty. So if AI makes them feel good, they will stick and always believe what AI says. See? But what I wanted to call in and talk to you about is, if I go into school, trained by AI or not, how the businesses here, run by Caymanians or non-Caymanians, can tell me that I'm overqualified and you don't want to hire me.
So if you're trained by AI, if you're educated by AI?
Whether I got my education through AI or I went to a university and I have a good experience and all that, when I come in here looking for a job back in Cayman, why is non-Caymanians and Caymanians perpetuating to me that I am overqualified so they can't hire me?
Well, I don't, each situation is different, but I know that is sometimes a phrase that people get turned down on. They don't want to hire you, and you say, "Oh, you're overqualified." And sometimes it's legitimate too. You're saying, perhaps you are overqualified for a job that you're qualifying, that you're applying for. What's that?
How can you be overqualified for a job?
Well, if you've got a master's degree in business and you're applying for, a receptionist job in a business, you would be overqualified for that job. And the first chance that you got to go get out of that job and go to a different one, you'd be gone. But listen, I got to take a break. It's 1:30. So I got to take a break, okay? Thanks for the call.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Caller, hang on.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Did you know there are over 100 Adventist-owned businesses right here in the Cayman Islands? Adventist entrepreneurs are making a powerful impact across Cayman. Join us on Sunday, June 28th at 2 p.m. at the Lion Center, Grand Cayman for the ASI Cayman Business and Career Expo. Explore products and services, enjoy exclusive discounts, free samples, giveaways, and exciting prizes. Need a wellness check? Enjoy free health screenings and relaxing massage therapy. Thinking about your future career? Young people, students, and job seekers, future, network with professionals, or simply enjoy a great community event, this is the place to be. Admission is absolutely free. The ASI Cayman Business and Career Expo. Showcase, connect, succeed. Sunday, June 28th, 2 p.m. at the Lion Center. For more information, visit asicayman.interamerica.org.
Hey, Cayman, this is DJ Lynn. Catch me live weekdays from 7 till 10 a.m. on The Morning Breeze, our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM. We're waking you up with the best adult contemporary hits with the 70s, 80s, 90s, and much more. So start your morning the Cayman way with me, DJ Lynn, on The Morning Breeze.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and it's open line time here at Talk Today. Numbers to call, 1-800-534-8255. That's courtesy of Flo. You can also call on 949-8037 or 949-6990 and WhatsApp 925-3261. We have someone on the line now. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
Yes. How you doing?
Trying to do good, I'm feeling a little pain today, boy.
Hope you get relief soon.
Boy, I don't know about that, though. I tugging it through the past couple of days, been since probably Monday, early Monday, probably late Sunday evening. Could have been an overnight thing, but boy, I tell you, a lot of the stuff in our air is slowly poisoning our people. I don't care what anybody got to say, they can believe it or not, but if they don't research nothing, they'll stay ignorant to the fact. But they have a lot of these toxic chemicals that they put in our atmosphere, sir. And it's nothing to play about, nothing to dismiss either. It shouldn't be dismissed. A lot of our government officials should be talking about those things because slowly but surely we have an epidemic that is going on in this island with respiratory illnesses.
But you're saying these things are being deliberately put into the air?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not only just the air, it's in our waters as well, whether we like it or not.
So what kind of things are you talking about, though?
A lot of it is fine dust. Fine dust. Some would say it's natural, but others would beg to differ. But you see, when I heard you mention something when it come into AI, and I heard the last caller that was talking, and I agree with his points. Those are the superficial parts that isn't part of it. But look at what is going on with the data centers in the United States, across the news, what's going on with the poisoning and contamination of the water systems that they have. I want to read something. Right? It says data centers can introduce several types of pollutants into water systems. These pollutants fall into three main categories: biocides, which are chemicals to prevent the growth of bacteria, mold, and allergies into the cooling systems, and the most common pollutant in the data center water systems. They have corrosion inhibitors. These are chemicals that prevent corrosions within cooling systems. And then the most important one is the heavy metals such as copper, zinc, and lead that can enter the waters in trace amounts when metal components degrade. These things, sir, is exactly what I fear about artificial intelligence. I don't care what anybody got to say. Yeah, it might save them time, but it might not save their lives. And as long as we sit down here blindly complying to a lot of these worldwide regulations where they want us to sit down and, like the last caller said, marry AI, because a lot of us marry AI,
I think that is a little bit far out.
No, sir. When you sit down and having to rely on your cell phone, it could be literally marrying or not literally marrying. Because if I sit down with my cell phone and I don't know what to do, and I go and say, "Boy, I wish I had my cell phone," that's just as equal as saying, "I wish I had my wife when she gone away to cook me food." And this is what's happening to us as people in the society, and not to mention the children especially. I feel so sorry for some of them, because when I was growing up in school, we couldn't have the laptop or tablets help us with an equation. We couldn't have asked AI how to answer this certain questions. We couldn't have done none of these things, and all it's doing is rotting in our brains. The children nowadays, they don't even know how to answer certain questions without asking Google, which is AI now. As long as people would say Google, it dismisses the artificial intelligence part of it. And this is what is happening to us. Slowly but surely, we're relying on artificial intelligence and no more common sense. And that's sad when we don't exercise our brains. Because you know what happens? We end up becoming crippled. And that's a serious fact. A lot of us are becoming crippled. We can't do anything without asking Google. I know some people that used to know how to do things without asking Google, and now all of a sudden they have to ask Google to affirm of themselves.
Well, tell me something, though. What's the difference? You have a question about something. What is the difference between asking Google with their AI Gemini,
right,
and going and reading about it in a book?
Well, you have the choice to select which article you want to read your information from, AI-generated question answers, or just a summary.
Yeah, but if you, I don't know if you actually use that much, the
No,
Google
I don't
Gemini.
use AI that much, but I do try.
It tells you where they got that information from. They cite.
Yeah.
They have citations that say, this is from this source, and you can go to the source itself and read what Gemini has just put together for you. They put a synopsis together of that article, or some information from that website, and you can go to the source.
Yeah, well, I understand what you're saying as well. I barely use AI, to be honest with you. When I use AI, it's someone that is using AI that I end up using it with them, because I don't have those type of artificial intelligence on my cell phone in particularly.
Do you have Google?
Well, I have Google that I use.
But you have artificial intelligence.
Yeah, but it not to gain intelligence. I use AI. I use AI when I don't know how to take off certain items and like that. But when it comes into information, I don't really like to use artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence would select what they feel like you need to know, but what you really want to know, it won't tell you.
Suppose you had something wrong with your car, right? Your car was doing something.
Right.
Maybe like when you brake, your wheel shakes, right?
Yeah.
If you put that into the artificial mode of Google, they'll bring that up, all the possible things that could be causing that problem with your car, and how to go about fixing it.
Mine, I agree with that. Like I said, I to an extent right now, when it comes into artificial intelligence, like to look for information on important things, is one thing, right? When you having to look for how to do things, there's YouTube that can actually show you how to do things yourself. And AI.
Who do you think owns YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube is. Hey, look here. I like to watch people do things rather than having to read it. Sometimes it's better.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
That's fine by me. You're visually inclined. You like
Yeah.
to see it done rather than read how to do it.
Yeah, but one thing I don't like about the AI, when it infiltrates into your mind. And when I say infiltrates into your mind, AI doesn't necessarily have to be a search engine that gives you information like that, like the last caller just mentioned, right? I'm going to give you a good example myself personally, right? And then I'm afraid for the children when I talk about myself about these incidents that happens to me, right? You download a video game. Say, for example, you go on your you have a Samsung or Android, right? Or you use Apple.
Yeah, I use the Apple iPhone.
Okay, you might get different results, but I noticed that with Apple, you get a lot of artificial intelligence with it. But when you download certain games on an Android phone, right? You download an innocent game that you feel is good, and then let's just say, I using myself as an example, but let's just say it's a child that download these video games, right? I download a lot of race car games because I love cars. I love cars, and sometimes I have like some jet fighter games that a military kind of style type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got points. You can either watch a video and gain extra points onto your credit with the games that you're playing, right? And then some of these artificial intelligent games that they introduce to the viewer is like pornographic videos. And when I tell you pornographic videos, it doesn't matter how old you are. These videos are engraved in these games for people to attract them to download these things. And you know the mind of a child, the curiosity kills the cat kind of style. They are going to open these applications and they're going to explore. And this is exactly the dangers that artificial intelligence do to the youth mind. And then you know what? They're going to lose interest in school because they found something way more interesting in their mind. And this is the danger that I feel for artificial intelligence when they marry in these games, because they'll spend all day talking to a lover that they don't even, that they're not going to see.
Don't you think that's a peculiar person who does that?
Hey, look
To
here,
marry-
anything that is artificial is peculiar, sir. Anything artificial is peculiar. It's very peculiar. The only thing that I see that is beneficial in for artificial stuff is food. Myself particularly, I am allergic to shrimp. You see, if I eat artificial shrimp like in them soups and stuff, I don't get affected by it. And that's the only thing I see artificial good for. But other than that, artificial intelligence could rot in people's minds because some of the information that it gives people is not real. It's just as artificial as the intelligence that they're engraving into the people's heads. Nothing common no more. No common sense. Nothing. Nothing. Some of the information that they search for artificial intelligence, I saw on the internet that they have a man that was arrested. How he got arrested? Because he asked AI how to hide a dead body in a trash can.
Yeah, I would be very suspicious of that person.
And this is exactly how criminal minds think. They use artificial intelligence so that their personal mind cannot think. They're using artificials for it.
But listen, I got to take a break.
This is how artificial intelligence is dangerous. It's not only that they can use it good, they can use it for evil as well.
I guess anything can be, the yin and the yang, right?
Definitely, sir. But we're giving them the tools to use it.
Listen, I got to take a break. Take care.
All right, thank you. All right.
We'll be right back. Callers, hang on.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco. Keeping Cayman covered.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And welcome back. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello, are you there? Hello?
Glidden.
Yes.
Glidden.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I couldn't let you get away like that, man.
Yeah, no?
So I want, one thing I want you to do, right? I want you to not read it to the whatever, but read it. When you can't, go read it, the advice or the problems with AI, okay? The people that are against it, read what they say, right? They say it's not good for mankind. That's the first thing that he says, okay? All right. Now, in our last caller, which I totally agree in everything he said about the AI, but did you catch on the point did you catch on the message where he said about when somebody search how to put the body in the can? Did you search what was going on there? Did you search that? I mean, did you understand what was going on with that?
No, well, he was looking for information as to how to do that.
Yeah, but did you understand?
But what was
AI,
what?
No, did you understand that the AI was tracking him, monitoring him, and recording him?
Oh, because he asked the question.
Yes, because he asked the question, right? So hold on now. The AI, these people now, like that, how they're using it to track people and track their information and data, that is going into a currency that is turning into, I think China have it, right? You don't use no cash. You just use your phone and you go pay, right? But you know what you do? But you know what they do in China? And this is, if you let me finish. If you say anything bad about the government in China, they lock you off from all the stores. You can't go buy nothing.
Well, I think they might do more than that. You might disappear. No one ever sees you again.
Well, without getting rid of you like that, they make an example of you, make you walk around the street that say you can't go and talk bad about this government. This is what happened to you. Why would they make you disappear if they don't want to set an example? All right. So the next thing now is when you trying to use AI for, say, journalistic views or things like that, it can be programmed to shut you out, right? Also,
what do you mean shut you out?
Yeah, meaning you could be what you call it, social banned. You can be banned from ever using the internet. Your credibility can be questioned. Right?
Listen, I've used AI for a number of things.
In a last, but you're not a out street journalist, right?
Not these days. No.
Okay then. So the next thing is they have AI hack. AI is going into people's account. Not programmed by anybody, you know. But the AI is doing this by itself. It's going into people's account and it's siphoning off people's money. They're going broke overnight.
Let me tell you something. If something using AI does that, there's a human being behind it.
Do you know what this? Do you know the term? Do you know the meaning of AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. You know.
And do you know how it's developed?
Do you know what it? Do you know what is based on intelligence?
What?
Survival. If that human can cut off that computer, that intelligence will tell that will teach itself how to survive from that person. Do you not understand that?
I don't understand what you mean.
No, you do not. Because
No.
you're stuck on AI.
No, I don't understand what you mean.
Intelligence. Intelligence is meaning to have to survive, learning how to survive. If that computer knows that it can be turned off, it will get rid of the threat. Do you not understand that?
We're going to Clockwork Orange now. And how?
Yeah. Like I said.
I guess it could eventually get there.
On a high class, on a know-it-all. But I'm sorry, but the laws of the jungle, they always rule. Thank you very much. And just so you know, the compass was made before the clock. Thank you.
Okay. The compass was made before the clock. Okay. So, what's up question here? This is Mr. Glidden, blessings. Can you or anyone explain to me this scenario? My last electric bill was just over $370. My current bill has ballooned to over $600. This is just terrifying. Well, mine went up too. I think a lot of people's bill went up. And I think it's all about, the price of fuel. And that bill is probably associated with the use of fuel before the fuel waiver, because remember, oil went up because of the war with Iran and the shortage of oil. So, if you may recall, CUC said that this would happen as a result of what was happening in the Middle East, where oil tankers couldn't come through the Strait of Hormuz. So there was a oil shortage throughout the world, and oil is an international commodity, and when it goes up, it affects everybody that has anything to do with using oil, and that's just about anybody in a developed place. Electricity, you can't get it, at least in Cayman, without burning fuel. And I think that little spike there, not a little, I know, that spike there was, I would say it's because of the oil shortage, the result of the war with Iran and the U.S. And Israel. So hopefully your next bill is going to go down. At least that's what I'm hoping that mine will be. Mine will be less than what the last one that came. And I'm sure that that's what it's all about. The CUC told us that that's what's going to happen. And any more messages here? Okay, confirmation. This is confirmation that the compass was made before the clock. The direction you go is more important than the time you get there if you don't know where you're going. Okay. Let's see, any more WhatsApps there? No. All right, so any more calls on the line? No more calls? And but talking about AI, our callers are talking about it as if it is some entity unto itself, some living being or artificial being functioning on its own. And I guess it could develop into that. But, right now when we say artificial intelligence that's accessible to the ordinary people, we're talking about like ChatGPT, Gemini on Google when you research something, or Microsoft's Copilot, and these things have been trained in language to understand when you write and ask it something. Or it can even draw you something if you want. You describe a picture, what kind of picture you want, and it will create a graphic of what you described. But you can also say, well, write me a letter, compose an email for me, and say this, and put it in a business sense. But I remember doing one and asking it to compose something, and it informed me that this is AI, or I am AI, it might have said. I am not able to take a political side. I can only give you information or, build an argument, but I cannot take a political side, dealing strictly with facts. And I haven't tested this, but was the other night someone was talking about it on a TV program and saying it can't write curse words, or describe things that are too violent. It had certain restrictions on it. And I'm sure anything that is invented can be used for good or evil purposes, right? But I think we have to remember that AI is a tool that could make things happen a lot quicker, a lot easier for people. And one of the big frontiers for it is medicine. Being able to take, the symptoms of a person, the facts surrounding that person, and coming up with a diagnosis much quicker than, a team of doctors. We have some doctors coming in the next segment here. Maybe I'll ask him about the use of AI in medicine and the benefits of having that as a tool, when helping a patient. Because that is going to be one of the big advances that we will see as AI grows, the use of it in medical situations. But before we get to all that, we got to go to the news because it is 2:00, so that's news time.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. Cayman-domiciled shell companies are driving this year's U.S. stock market listing. A Cayman finance tally published this week says 103 Cayman-domiciled special purpose acquisition companies, or SPACs, have listed in the United States so far this year, accounting for 61% of all initial public offerings. The group says this marks a major shift toward Cayman for these vehicles. In international news, foreign migrants in Durban are fleeing their homes as a protester deadline for undocumented people to leave the country approaches. Protesters have set June 30th as the date, and aid groups say up to 7,000 mainly Malawian nationals are now sheltering in an open field after door-to-door threats and attacks. In other news, a $300 billion private investment fund tied to the new U.S.-Iran framework deal already has more than half its money committed, according to a source quoted by Reuters. The source says the Reconstruction and Development Fund will be entirely privately financed and will only become operational once a final agreement to end the war is signed. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Now let's take a quick look at the weather. The afternoon forecast is calling for some isolated showers, and here in Georgetown it's 88 degrees, but it feels like 100 degrees. And taking a look at the rest of the current information, winds out of the southeast at 8.5 knots, let's call it. And the forecast for later this evening, we can look forward to tonight being partly cloudy, becoming cloudy with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures low 80s. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. And sunset at 7:03. The outlook is for an increase in cloud cover and the chance of showers as instability passes to the south of the area through Thursday. And we're going to turn our focus here to medicine. In our last segment, as we come down the home stretch here, we're going to be talking about heart health. I'm joined now by two heart specialists from Baptist Health, Dr. Bradley Taylor, a cardiac surgeon who's also Chief Medical Executive of the Christine E. Lynn Heart and Vascular Institute, as well as Chief of Surgery for the Palm Beach region. Also in the studio is Dr. Sheng Fu, a cardiologist specializing in advanced heart failure and transplantation at Baptist Health Miami Cardiac and Vascular Institute. Doctors, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So, what brings you to Cayman?
Well, we saw the opportunity to come. Well, there's a cardiology conference that we're speaking at tomorrow and on Friday, but we saw this as an opportunity to introduce ourselves and to present what we're doing new and innovative in Miami and Palm Beach County in the world of cardiac surgery.
So what is the latest developments as far as heart surgery?
Well, from the cardiac surgery standpoint, we have access now to incredible technology, devices that typically would have required people to have large incisions, going on a bypass machine, and from all aspects, whether it's valvular heart disease or coronary disease or even aortic pathology, we now have devices that allow us to do the full gamut or offer the full gamut from everything from open surgery to small incision surgery, and now what we like to call microinvasive procedures. Just with a small needle and a wire, we can now deploy devices that can repair valves or replace valves, replace disease segments of the aorta, and in many respects approach coronary artery disease in ways that we weren't able to do previously. And it benefits the patient from the standpoint that there's less of a physiologic hit from the standpoint of doing large operations, but also they can recover a lot faster. They get back on their feet, get back to doing the things that they like to do on a day-to-day basis.
Dr. Fu, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think, well, in my specialty in heart failure, I guess the more appropriate question would be what isn't new in heart failure. Nearly our entire toolbox of medications and therapies for heart failure is probably no more than 20 or 25 years old. So it's and there's new therapies coming out on the market, new medicines, as well as new devices and procedures pretty much every 6 months or a year. So I think it's a very exciting time to be able to help patients who have heart failure and other cardiac conditions, because basically every 6 months or a year you're looking at new things we can offer patients.
Now tell me, in the last half hour here, we had some callers warning us about AI and the dangers of AI. Is AI used in medicine and from your specialties?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion of AI in cardiology. If you break it down into kind of a few buckets where I think AI has tried to kind of solve certain issues. One is imaging, and Dr. Taylor is also, from a cardiac surgery perspective, probably a bit more familiar, with some of those aspects. But echocardiograms and CAT scans of the heart and the blood vessels, there's quite a bit of technology in the AI space to see, how can we tease out more information using the existing imaging technologies that we have. In the heart failure space, there's a lot of discussion and kind of impetus to try to use AI to help risk stratify patients, try to figure out which patients might feel good today, but may not feel as good in the coming weeks to months. Kind of try to capture kind of early warning signals in some ways, and I think that's where the potential for AI comes from. Obviously, I imagine some of the callers, if you're saying that they were concerned about it, the concerning signal would be we don't really know exactly as it relates to kind of heart failure and this kind of predictive AI ability. I'll be honest, we don't really know exactly what might cause a future heart failure admission or future heart failure. And so to rely on an AI algorithm to say, well, how did you get there? And the AI algorithm obviously can't tell you. It just kind of learned that in some way. I think can be a little unsettling. But if the data suggests that it works, it can only be beneficial to patients.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's something I'd like to add. So when I think of using AI and the power of AI, I like to think of it under the auspices of collective intelligence. So myself and many of my colleagues, including Dr. Fu, we like to get good brains together in this concept of collective intelligence. You get multiple people who see things from different perspectives, allows us to make better decisions. And adding AI into that can help those of us who are putting our brains together make better decisions as a whole. And it adds the technical piece, the computer piece of it, to the human piece. And so you need the combination of both.
And make diagnoses happen much faster?
Faster, the ability to predict outcomes, to model, right, to give people what to expect, to be able to identify people and sort out the nuances of their diseases and not just rely on what people may know, but bring additional ideas in. It allows us to practice or to train people, things along those lines. So there's a lot that can be done in that space, but it still requires human interface at a high level.
Dr. Fu, your specialty is advanced heart failure. Now, that term, heart failure,
terrible term.
Terrible term.
Yeah.
Explain it.
Yeah. So, it mimics how we talk about other organs, right? People talk about kidney failure. People talk about respiratory failure when it comes to lungs. And so the term failure is ubiquitous in medicine, and it's a term that kind of gets used anytime an organ is not working the way it's supposed to. Specifically as it relates to heart failure, our bodies need a certain amount of blood in the organs, the different parts of the belly, the lungs, the muscles. They need a certain amount of blood, and heart failure just denotes a condition where the heart is not able to adequately supply that blood. And so if it's not able to meet those demands, then patients can get different symptoms, including swelling, fatigue, tiredness, shortness of breath. It's a whole variety of symptoms. But I think it's a little, the reason I somewhat dislike the term is because it's obviously very pessimistic and kind of scary sounding, but two, it doesn't necessarily denote kind of the clinical course or the prognosis as well as what the condition is, right? If your heart is failing, that denotes a certain kind of trajectory that seems like it's never going to turn around. It's kind of, you're headed towards a cliff and there's no way to turn around, when there's really quite a bit we can do for patients.
Now, Dr. Taylor, when someone undergoes heart surgery, does that mean, as most of us have in our head, a very long recovery these days?
Yeah, again, it depends. It depends on the type of procedure that you need done and the degree of the size of the incision, the condition of the patient before they present for their operation. So it all depends. But we do have the ability now, and because we have a databases where we can compare every individual patients to hundreds of thousands of people similar to them with the same age, risk factors, and we're able to compute what their outcomes are likely to be, the risk of death, the risk of stroke, kidney failure, infection, and then what their length of stay should be. and how long they should be in the hospital. So if somebody has something done from a puncture standpoint, typically they're just in the hospital, maybe can go home the same day, or in the hospital just for a short time period, a day or two. If somebody presents and they're really very sick or their life's on the line, they may be in the hospital depending on their condition. It may range somewhere between 5 days or a week or two. Most patients, though, and I see all patients back at 2 and 4 weeks, because at 4 weeks, no matter what happened to them in the hospital, usually by the time at 4 weeks, they're ready to resume normal activities, get back into the swing of life, do the things that they like to do, drive a car, get back to work, things along those lines.
Now, we've all heard of people who just have a heart attack and bam, they're dead, they're gone. And you say, I just saw him last week, he looked great. Are there always some kind of warning signs that your heart is not in good shape?
I think that's the short answer to that is no. That there's and in fact we know that there's the types of blockages that cause those type of heart attacks, the ones where you might not have much symptoms. The patient may look fine, a week before, and then suddenly they have a massive heart attack and they're either in the hospital for a long time or they don't even make it there. We know now from kind of looking at scans and CAT scans in the past that a lot of those blockages literally were not there or were in fairly small proportions, kind of 40%, 50% blockages up until the moment of their heart attack. And so it's not unusual, unfortunately, for us to hear about situations where patients seem like they're doing fine and suddenly out of nowhere they get a massive heart attack. I think that what we've been able to do and what the field has come around to a little bit is being proactive about screening for some of these early blockages. We may not necessarily be able to take and, surgically or through a procedure kind of fix that 50% blockage, but there are medications that we can put patients on that stabilize that so that 50% blockage doesn't turn into a massive heart attack.
So what are some signs that a person would realize that something is wrong as far as their heart?
So I think about this a lot, because the concept that you brought up about someone being well and then suddenly having a catastrophic event is not uncommon, particularly in the world we live in, because that's what presents to us. So symptoms are a late warning sign. The human body has this capacity, because we have redundant systems, to get away for a long time without having symptoms. And I see symptoms as a late warning sign. It's not like in your car when you need an oil change, the light comes on. By the time you're having symptoms, you're already late in the progression of your disease. And for many people, and this is a concept I think about a lot, is people are kind of secretly sick. They look good on the outside, but they don't know what they look like on the inside. So I think it's really important that as we get older, and for younger patients too, but to pay attention and become responsible for your own health care, meaning that know what your blood pressure is, understand your medicines. You should know what your lab values are. All this information is readily shared on your iPhone and your iPad, and every day you should be paying attention to yourself. The quality of the food that goes into your body, how much alcohol you consume or whether you smoke or don't smoke, your weight, managing all those things. It ultimately comes down to your own personal responsibility. And I think we now live in an age where all of us can pay really close attention to that, and in conjunction with our physicians, get the appropriate testing, imaging, because that imaging has such high fidelity now, and it's really good at predicting what your future course may be. I mean, for many of us, we can go on and we can actually enter in information into our iPhones and understand what our chronological age is, but also what our biological age is. And you can change your biological age by those risk modifiers.
So we all should be paying attention to what's happening with our body.
Absolutely. Because in many respects, oftentimes there's no do-overs, right?
Yeah.
And so, and if you're that person who, look, we all have had friends or know people that were highly athletic, running marathons, but at every marathon somebody goes down, right? Or every big event that somebody's doing, because they just didn't know what they looked like on the inside, and they were living with something that they were able to compensate for until that critical moment.
What kind of lifestyle should we be living in order to keep a healthy heart?
Yeah,
I think science is still hasn't come to a full conclusion on that. We know fairly well what things are not healthy, right? Like smoking, excessive drinking, being overweight, eating ultra-processed foods. That we've gotten very good at identifying the things that are high risk that we probably shouldn't, put into our bodies. But as far as being prescriptive about these are the exact things you should eat and these are the exact things you should do, I generally tell patients, if it walks around on Earth and it grows in the ground, it's probably okay. Like that's a pretty good thing if it's a plant or an animal that at one point was living. And then as far as activity goes, nearly any activity is better than no activity. If for nothing else, then it gives you that kind of early warning sign, right? Even if you're just the type of person that goes to the grocery store once a week, keep going to the grocery store once a week, because then you set a baseline for, I used to be able to do this grocery store trip with no issues, and now I'm a little short of breath, or I'm having these aches, by the time I get to the frozen food section or whatever. But you have to have that baseline of, this is the type of lifestyle I'm used to, where I can do these activities without symptoms, so that when symptoms do come along, you're able to identify them relatively quickly.
One other additional piece of information I think is really important. Your family history. In many respects, we carry the genes of our two parents. And if you know your family history, we become our parents in many respects. And so certainly from a disease standpoint or a longevity standpoint, our genes will get expressed over time. And so if you have a family history of whether it's cancer, cardiovascular disease, stroke, all those things, we know that those are really strong predictors. If they're in your family line, there's a high likelihood. At very similar age points, you should be looking for those things. And the example I'll give is with colon cancer. If you had a family member who had colon cancer in their 70s, you should in your 60s and earlier be screened for that, because there's the possibility that you may develop express those same genes and have that same colon cancer that was in your family line. And it just makes sense. So it's important to share your family history with your physicians as well. Get to know them.
And these days, some people don't know about their family history.
It's true.
Seek it out. Ask a relative about who's been sick with what.
Yes.
Yeah. At some point, we are going to get to a place where precision medicine is kind of how we practice all medicine, right? I think there's certain blood work. For example, one blood work that's come in to vogue recently is lipoprotein A, or Lp(a). It's a completely genetically inherited condition where this particular protein portends a significant increase in your risk of developing cardiovascular disease. And so what we've been able to do is you can track families where they have had a strong family history of heart attacks. And you'll notice when you test their Lp(a) levels, you'll notice that they were elevated all throughout their family. So at some point, we will have probably the science and the medicine to be able to detect what exactly is running through the family that's causing these different conditions. But until we get to the point where we know all the things that could be running, nothing beats just kind of talking to people and seeing what they know.
In both of your specialties, are people recovering quicker, living longer after having to undergo some kind of treatment?
Well, that's the beauty of cardiac surgery, right? It's the most restorative form of surgery that exists. We give people back oftentimes decades to their life and their longevity. So I think the answer to that is yes. It's the ability to rescue somebody or save somebody's life through what we can do in cardiac surgery is unbelievably powerful. I was telling someone earlier today, my favorite thing is to walk into the waiting room after surgery and seeing a large family or family members and being able to give them good news, and then to see people progress relatively quickly over a short time period to get back to living a normal, full and active life. And that's why I think what's so beautiful about the power of cardiac surgery is they get back to living that normal life.
And that was not the story 15, 20 years ago.
It's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. We've come a long way in cardiac surgery. You know, that not only is the techniques changed, but how we manage and identify people before we take them to the operating room, actually prehabbing them and getting them in good shape. So when they go into the operating room, they're in good shape. And then when they come out of the operating room and they go into our ICUs, we've gotten really very good at managing patients in the postoperative period, getting them off a ventilator in a short time period, getting them into a chair and walking the same day of their operation, getting them mobile again. And if they do have to go to rehab, there are good rehabs that they can go to become independent again. The goal is to become independent in a short time period.
Is that the same story with heart failure? I mean, people can live a normal life?
It's come a long way. I think not quite as far as some of the advances in cardiac surgery. Like I said, most of the advances in heart failure have come in the last 20 or 25 years. The medications that we currently use, the oldest medication, came onto the market that we use in heart failure came onto the market about 1999 or so, 2000. The newest ones are, about a year old. Together, they've been able to, our current kind of toolbox of medications, by our best statistical estimates, can add upwards of 8 to 12 years on average for patients with heart failure. We'd like to do much more. Right? One of my favorite things I remember from a med school mentor of mine who said, the purpose of medicine is to turn young men into old men. And I think we've gotten to the point where we can turn, at least in heart failure, young men into reasonably older men. But we haven't quite hit that sweet spot yet of getting kind of that really exaggerated kind of prolongation of life in heart failure. Not quite yet.
Now, Dr. Fu, you also do heart transplants.
I take care of heart transplant patients, yes.
Yeah. So what are some of the latest developments with that aspect?
I think heart transplants come a long way. The heart transplant first started in the 60s. And so we've only got about 60 or so years of experience as a human race with transplanting hearts. The immune suppression, the medications we use to help control the patient's immune system so that they don't reject the heart, that has had tremendous changes over the past 10 or 15 years or so, where those medicines are now safer to use, have fewer side effects, and also do just as good, if not better, job at preventing rejection. We've gotten much better in terms of the preservation techniques that for when surgeons procure a heart from a donor who unfortunately passed away, and then have to transport that heart to the recipient. That period, which can be several hours, is quite injurious to the heart because it's outside of a body. So the techniques around kind of preserving that heart and keeping it in good shape has changed quite a bit. And then I'm sure some of your viewers or listeners may have heard a couple years ago there was the first in the world xenotransplantation of a pig heart being transplanted in humans. The news on that has gotten quiet, at least the past couple of years. I think it's a little bit back to the bench to try to work out some of the kinks, but it's certainly a very exciting thing that we're monitoring as a field for where that goes.
What about artificial hearts?
Yeah, I think my personal belief is that technology will grow faster than biology, right? So if one of the kind of fun, I don't know if your listeners might think of this as fun, but one of the fun things we like to talk about is, do you think we'll get a really good artificial heart before or after we figure out how to transplant pig hearts, for example? And I think biology is just much harder to figure out than technology is. There's a couple of kind of total artificial hearts that are currently in clinical trials that are quite exciting in the way that they handle blood flow and so forth. But I think it'll come. It'll come.
Talk a little bit about the relationship with the Baptist Health Heart and Vascular Care, Miami Cardiac and Vascular Institute, and the Christine E. Lynn Heart and Vascular Institute working together. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Baptist is the largest healthcare provider in South Florida, and it has a facilities both in Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Dade. Dade is Miami. And we do cardiac surgery at 4 separate sites across that region. And what we've done is we've created an institute that shares in all aspects of cardiovascular care, and all of us are under the same umbrella. And again, it goes back to that concept of collective intelligence. We're trying to bring a group of specialists that look specifically at different areas of cardiovascular care and then share in the care of the patients, so that they're seen not by just one physician, but they're seen by a group of physicians who then start to solve that individual's problem set at a very high level.
And of course, you have a very good international patient department, right, that takes care of people who may be going into surgery.
Correct. That's correct. So, this is something that's amazing to me, but, for Cayman Islands, Central America, South America, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Miami. It's closer than many of the cities that we previously used to live in. We can get to these regions, and patients can travel to Miami for opinions or for care or for second opinions. And so, we want to be able to provide the resources that we have in Miami to people who are essentially our neighbors.
Dr. Sheng Fu and Dr. Bradley Taylor, thank you so much for coming in and giving us some enlightenment about heart care and the medicine of the heart.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that's going to do it for me. My time is just about up here. Thank you all for tuning in and calling in. Have a great afternoon. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Are you looking for more weekend getaways with Friday flights? Well, Cayman Airways has added Friday flights to Panama for a limited time this summer. They're perfect for short and long weekend getaways, quick business trips, or easy connections across Latin America. And if Jamaica is on your summer wish list, seasonal summer flights to Montego Bay are also available. Call Cayman Airways on 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com. See you on board our Friday flights to Panama this summer.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
This is Cheryl Ebanks Miller, the Cayman Islands' very first female radio announcer. What a privilege that has been for me. And I just want to say happy 50th anniversary, Radio Cayman. It was wonderful being here from the very beginning. And I wish you all much success for future years and that it'll get even better.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.